Hey, I'm Art Sebastian. I'm the founder and CEO of NexChapter, a boutique consulting firm focused on retail. I also am an advisor to Treasure Data, and I'm talking to you today from Shop Talk Spring here in beautiful Las Vegas, where we're talking about everything retail, AI, and customer data.
Hi, my name is Takashi Okutani, and I just third time in attending in the shop talk, and it's always exciting for me to understand what's going on in the U.S. retail, and also that I have a kind of role to bring back the latest information in the U.S. What's happening in B2C market, and especially like a customer-centric data, or what the customer experience is going on in the U.S. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to talk to Art Sebastian.
Yeah, customer centricity is evolving in so many ways. I think the first thing that comes to mind for me is here in the US, we're experiencing a pretty significant generational shift where some of the core customers are aging out and the younger customers are beginning to control more spending power. So for retailers, they need to recognize that and be prepared for that. These younger customers have different expectations. They're digital natives. They think and value brands much more differently, and you just need to be ready for that. So I'd say that's probably the first trend that comes to mind for me here in the U.S.
But how say compared to on U.S. that kind of demographic reason and more customers are getting older, and then not many younger generations exist. One of the risks is for the Japanese market is many companies tend to focus on too much on the elderly people. And of course, it's nice to be in a customer centricity and when being more data-driven marketing. But as you know, the older generation don't really still have enough touch point for the digital. It's maybe the harder for the Japanese company to understand what's going on in the mind, especially elderly people. And also that the younger generation maybe tend to go for it, to look for more international brand. And that's that kind of point we did have to figure out and how to take care of the elderly generation for the customer-centric point of view, and also how to not escape those kind of younger generation in the Japanese market. Sure. Yeah, that's kind of maybe that issue. Yeah, it's kind of happening in the Japanese market. Yeah.
Here we pay a lot of attention to GDPR overseas. Yeah. We have CCPA in California, but now 20 US states have different levels of privacy regulation.
So complicated.
And when you're a retail operating across multiple states, it just adds complexity to your business. And you're trying to be customer centric, but you need to meet various compliance requirements.
Before that, I think Japanese companies tend to be very, very much for risk averse for the data management, especially the customer data. So regardless of how hard or how strict that the rule is, even before that, I think Japanese companies take more risk, maybe just using the data and then conduct some excellent marketing. It's to do that we have to be more like a data-driven and a point of view, and we have to take a risk and try to make some kind of POC type of marketing based on data, and then make some excellent customer experiences. Unless to do it, we cannot really moving forward to the data-driven marketing. Right. Well, that's kind of my concern.
This evolution from multi-channel to omni-channel to now unified commerce, it is a requirement.
Yeah,
it's no longer a nice to have; it's a must-have. And so retailers need to think about the digital experience, the physical experience, the technology that enables that, and you need to be prepared to serve customers anywhere, anytime, any way they want.
I think totally agree with that. And I think even in Japan, that the omnichannel is a kind of fundamentals. Omnichannel is tend to kind of focus on a kind of narrower and funnel because those omnichannel channel is basically provided from the company side. But consumer's point of view, they go for like a TikTok, SNS, and even like a store associates comment is heavily influenced to the kind of their consumer behavior. So to do that, we have to go. We should prepare that quickly for the omnichannel strategies or omnichannel environment, and then move on to the unified commerce marketing. Yeah.
So I think customer data platforms are now essential to retail. Mm-hmm. There's an explosion of data.
Yeah.
All the increased touch points across things like retail media, loyalty programs has just created more and more customer data. Mm-hmm. And so you need technology that can store that data, that can unify customer data, and help you, quite frankly, activate against that data. And so I think a CDP is critical. And the value that I see it deriving, one, it helps you keep data safe and aligned with whatever privacy regulation there might be. Two is it can help a retailer derive new insights, insights that they didn't have easy access to. And then three, it helps you optimize how you connect with your customers, whether it be through email marketing or paid media or your retail media business.
I think many companies start to prepare for the CDP, but they don't know how to use it, CDP more efficiently. So to do that, not only just collecting the data, maybe we should conduct some kind of maybe based on the marketing hypothesis, approach to that some kind of customer. For example, you set it by email or like using the marketing automation tools, and see their reactions, and maybe those kind of incremental action transaction, maybe that elaborated our marketing techniques, but still I think we didn't have enough transaction or enough practices, and we have to move on to that let's use a CDP and do something, and make some kind of create great customer experiences. Then maybe I have say trend of that utilizing that the CDP in Japanese market is keep expanding. We have to go in for that.
I share some examples of my past as a former chief marketing officer leveraging a CDP, and I share this example. When I joined a retailer, we used to send one email a month to 300,000 customers, and that was it. Over time, as we led a digital transformation and we grew our customer base and we implemented a CDP, 5 years later, we were sending 200 million messages a month to multiple customers.
Wow.
Right? So a CDP enables you to connect with customers in a much more personalized way.
And at the same time, right, you can do it in multiple marketing strategies can conduct it. That's great. That's great.
And one of the things I used to think about as a chief marketing officer is this concept of one to all. So one message to all customers, one to some. So think about segmenting your customer base and sending one different message to each of those. I would say one to few. So where you have smaller segments and you're sending various different messages, and then finally one to one. Right? So it is impossible to do that without a CDP.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, by having that CDP, we can easily conduct that personalization, and also I think nowadays it can quickly get that result, and then maybe we can find quickly tuning that or like pivoting that marketing strategies. So I think it we should conduct more marketing based on CDPs.
And one other thing I think about too, as retailers are increasing their touch points and their marketing channels, they need to be careful not to make it so complicated that they need to add more headcount to feed those channels. And so how are you leveraging technology and automation and all of that to be more efficient without adding all of the headcount? To connect.
Well, I think it's true. I mean, of course, nowadays it's very hard to acquire the nice so-called digital marketers or those kind of people within our company. So that means that instead of instead of the new people, why don't we use the technologies?
Right.
More like conducting the marketing things more fine way or refined kind of sophisticated marketing by using CDP is possible. But still, it's a problem. Japan is always thinking, unless that the people exist, we cannot do it. But, we have to educate more, using more technologies and based on the CDPs. We can do that the many sophisticated marketing without increasing at the headcount.
Yeah. Another really practical example I like to share is we had this concept called triggers. So when we observed a very specific behavior in the transaction data, it would trigger the CDP to push a different message. So, for example, we're running a 2 for $3 campaign, but a customer only bought 1. And we see that in the transaction data or the loyalty data, and it triggers the CDP to shoot a SMS to say, next time buy 2, save X amount of dollars to buy 2. And those are really practical examples of how to operationalize a CDP in your business every day.
I think that the kind of segmenting customer, and also that offering that the different kind of benefit is very important. In my also case at the past experiences, I kind of give some same kind of offer for the Apple purchasers, and but my mistake is I gave that the nicer value coupon to the high loyalty people. They buy a lot, but they couldn't come for like several months. But I gave the very cheaper coupon to the lower customers segment, but they buy a lot and they kind of activate it and coming back to the stores. That's kind of things. But anyway, based on the CDP, we can get the data. We can get those kind of past experiences also inside of the CDP. We can keep refining the marketing strategies. That's true.
I think every retailer needs to have a customer data strategy. We're seeing it here at Shop Talk. Retailers who are taking the stage to talk about marketing and advertising and retail media. At the core of it all, you need a customer data strategy. And what you brought up is, you have zero-party data. You have first-party data, which, by the way, I still believe is king. You have second-party data. You have third-party data. You have partners. You have clean rooms. And so setting the customer data strategy, I think, is critical in retail today.
So last couple of years, we often call that the many marketers call the quiz. I mean, they talk about which cosmetics package is better than this and this, and some of the influencers are talking about this product is about to launch, which when do you think it's better to launch or something like this kind of conversational data. If we can get those kind of data into CDP, maybe we can get more sophisticated way of the estimation, or maybe that we can quickly or easily to design the customer journeys. Just to get more nicer customer data. As a marketer, we have to be more like a proactive. I mean, it doesn't have to be passive and just waiting for what the customers give us. We have to go for the customers, and maybe talk to them and get more data and enriching the CDP. That's very important.
So I used to tell people my number one job as a CMO is to grow my first-party data set.
That's true.
And it's not enough to just rely on loyalty registration and that sort of thing. You need to drive your loyalty program, your email subscriptions. You need to gate your Wi-Fi at the store and capture as much data as you can. Honestly, I think we're still in the early stages here. And I think of stage one as leveraging AI to look at all the data and help you make better decisions faster in simple terms, right? And then the next stage gets into Gen AI. Now we're getting smarter. We're becoming a little bit more predictive. And then I think of the third stage, I'd call it agentic AI, right? Now where you're solving problems. So to me, I think AI is far from overhyped. I think it's going to be a space that will continue to evolve. And as retailers, it's something that we need to figure out what it means to us and how to leverage the capabilities. What do you think?
Well, of course, AI is quite important. And maybe by launching some kind of AI and then mixing with CDP, we can quickly, kind of accelerate the marketing tactics and, maybe getting a lot of, result. But in case of Japan, like even before that launching some AI, we really we have to kind of promote the many marketers to be more data driven and also use more CDP and then, how to say, make their marketing skill is a little bit higher enough, maybe to confront the AI, to his team. But otherwise, more like maybe depending on the AI too much, that's not really good. Maybe we should be more like hypothetical mindset as a human being should have it, and then maybe in fighting with AI, maybe creating the great customer experiences.
The space is dominated by Amazon and Walmart. But when you look at the rest of the retail media networks, there is still a significant amount of advertising dollars to capture. So it's changing how retailers think about their business model, how they engage their customers, and it's just continuously evolving.
Well, I think compared to US, I was always surprised that, retail media's progress in the US market is so fast and, so dynamic. And, I think that the customer experience from the retail media is more like enriching daily basis. So, but still in Japan, it's more like one way of, retail media is still, and more like, for me, that in Japan, it's retail promotion is always exists. Maybe providing some coupon or like an OOH and, kind of, a signage, those kind of experiences, always one way. So we still have to learn a lot from the US, how to be more interactive or like how to enrich retail media experiences.
So number one is first party data. Number two is you need to think about your advertising inventory. And this is across on-site, off-site, and in-store media channels. And so there's a lot of work to do to connect all of those channels and make sure that your first-party data is integrated with those channels. And then the last piece that I'd raise is the need for measurement.
KPI.
So you need KPIs, you need closed-loop measurement. Brand advertisers are requiring return on ad spend. They're requiring closed loop measurement. And so that's another piece that retailers need to be very thoughtful about.
How do you treat that in the US market as incrementalities in terms of the retail medias? Are there any measurement clear way to expression?
So this is a great topic to debate a little bit. Here's what I believe, right? And this could get controversial, right? A lot of folks are looking at closed loop measurement and they wanna run return on ad spend. However, if you're running a brand campaign for a month or two and you can demonstrate ROAS, you've now invested in a spike in sales one time. And there's nothing wrong with that, but let me give you an alternative view. Which is, do you leverage your first-party data and your retail media capability to drive customer lifetime value and try to change behavior over time versus just a spike in sales for a one-time campaign?
We have to think about what kind of touch point is more effective to the retail media, because most of the Japanese retailers still on the progress, just maybe that how to say, preparing for the retail media. So still that the impact of that the retail media is small, but maybe a good opportunity that by preparing for that media touch point, also that preparing for that background. So that by mean when the background is like preparing for that the CDP, and also like preparing for that the PDPs, those kind of maybe that the infrastructure has to be well organized, and then maybe that the once that the date come, then we can make that the officially launch at the big retail media business. Maybe that the success might be like we can be followed to the US market.
Yeah. Retailers see their customers 3 to 5 times a week because they're coming in the store for beverages or their morning coffee, and so they have a lot of interaction with their customer base. For a grocery retailer, you see your customers maybe once a week when they're stocking up on groceries for the week. And when you look at big box retailers like consumer electronics or hardware and home improvement, it might be once a quarter. And so retail media capabilities differ across these various channels.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's maybe frequency of the customer touch point. We really have to change the way of the business. So same as in retail business, retail media also.
This has been so much fun. I truly love talking to people about the industry, talking about retail. I love that you're here in the US taking trends back to Japan. I had the opportunity last year to spend a week in Japan learning and bringing those insights back. So, and it's so fun to see similarities and differences in our businesses.
It's a nice, great opportunity for me to talk to you. Getting more, my updating that kind of digital marketing way, and I learned a lot from you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.